Welcome to the 2050 podcast. My name is Max Hack and my guest today is May Lindstrom. Welcome to the podcast, May.
Thank you, Max.
So, May, what is your life purpose? What is your why?
I will tell you that it has become very, very clear. I am here to love. And I've been listening to your other podcast episodes, and it's funny because this question has come up so many times over the last few months. I've been doing a lot of interesting work with these different learning groups I've been a part of and communities I've been a part of, and also in some personal therapy, and that's it. It's really, really incredibly simple. And when I just narrow it down to exactly what the core is, as a human being, it's love. And I went through the exercise you outlined in one of the very first episodes that you recorded on, what was the word, the Japanese word?
Ikigai.
Ikigai.
Yeah.
And doing that practice is still funnels down to exactly that. And I can have all of these larger purposes with my business and visions that I have and things that I want to change in the world, but none of it matters without love. And that's the piece that I know that I'm really good at. I have a bit of a reputation for being a good hugger.
Yeah, I confirm that.
Thank you. And what I've figured out over the years, I grew up very introverted, incredibly shy and quiet. And that's been something I've struggled with over the course of my life. And in the last few years, I've come to peace with, I can be a quiet being and I can still move from love. And I can still share from that. And I used to have a lot of fear around not showing up so much vocally and not bringing this big energy to a room or to conversations or being able to walk into somebody's presence. I struggle with that. But now what I do instead is I try and take all of the love and all of the fire that's on the inside and think of it shooting off of me like sunbeams. And so even if I'm quiet in a room and I'm not saying anything, I try and walk around with that. And what I've found is it creates this opening for other people to come to me. And there's such a beautiful ripple effect that happens with that. And so I'm just trying to embody it and be at peace and with love with myself everywhere that I go. And that's taken a lot of work to just be okay with that. Particularly because loving yourself can be hard and is not always obvious. And what does that even mean? And that's been a lot of the work of more recent months is, what if I can't find the love I have for myself? What if I don't even know what that looks like? What if I can't access it? Sometimes it's this really intangible thing. And when you can't touch it, when you can't see it and you can't recognize it in yourself, what do you do? And that's where I think I've found my answer. And it's, you can be loving. You might not be able to recognize love, but you can be loving, and loving is an action. And so now my life is about creating practices that are loving.
So, yeah, well, I mean, this is somewhat like kind of vague love, but it's also like really important in everything. And yeah, I think can also be very precise and direct with another person that you meet. So yeah, what are your plans for the year 2050? Do you have any vision for that? And how do you incorporate love, for your 2050 vision or goal?
Yeah. This ties back to the work that I do. So on a very surface level, I have a skincare company. But over the years, what we've learned is what we do is not about skincare at all. What we do is we bottle a catalyst for love. And that that is a way to make it tangible, to make this practice of loving tangible. And I grew up with incredibly damaged skin. I was very allergic to everything. I have the kind of skin, I touch the wrong thing and I get blisters and rashes and I bleed and my skin falls apart. So very traumatic skin history, and which was a big part of my self-consciousness and my shyness and my fear of showing up in the world. And as I grew older and began to study plant medicine and work with these skin conditions, I naturally attracted a lot of people who had come from conditions like mine and worse. So I was formulating for people with severe acne, psoriasis, dermatitis, eczema, post-cancer, radiation therapy, and on and on. And it's very heavy work. And I was working with people who had a lot of hate for themselves and a lot of discomfort in their skin, physically, emotional pain, encapsulated in this large, vulnerable organ of ours. And when I decided to take this work further and bring it into the retail space, the idea was to bring these formulas that I knew were working to actually physically create change in the skin, but bottle it in a way and package it in a way and deliver it in this loving way that made people actually want to touch their skin with love.
Mm-hmm.
Because that wasn't happening. My clients would touch their skin and they would hate themselves. They would look in the mirror and they would cry. They would feel their skin and it would be physically uncomfortable, it would be emotionally uncomfortable, and it was a source of discontent for them. Their morning cleansing ritual was a reminder of something that was broken. Their evening ritual was one more message in the day that they weren't enough. And all of my work over the last decade has been in bringing back ritual to our lives through the form of self-care, specifically through the form of cleansing and healing our skin that is loving all the way through. And so as my business has grown, so has our ripple. With every package that we send out into the world, with every bottle that somebody uncaps, with every time somebody turns on their sink and enters that cleansing ritual, we have the opportunity to create love. And when you can learn to touch yourself with love, that act of being loving, even if you don't feel the love, it changes everything. And through teaching our clients and speaking this language and approaching skincare, not from a place of this is what's here to fix what's broken, these are the things that are wrong with you, all of the message around anti-acne, anti-aging, anti-everything, but from a place of positivity that really is just about connection to self. That changes how you walk out into the world. And it allows you to be that vessel of light and love that goes out into the world. And when we move from this place, it changes the universe. It changes how we see ourselves, how we see others, and how we get to exist.
Wow, yeah, it's really, your company is like really different basically than all other skincare companies out there. Like, as you say, right, they're like always, this is wrong with you, so you need to buy our product. This is basically how marketing works in general. Mm-hmm. Super interesting. But yeah, I want to be like, push a bit more on the 2050. If you have like yes. Somewhat like a vision for the year or something precise that you could share with the audience, and share if you have a big goal for mm-hmm. the vision for your company or just for 2050.
So 2050 is 31 years from now. I'll be 66 years old. And my hope is that the way that I see this moving from love in business, it happens everywhere, that this is what's normal. Both in terms of, the beauty world and self-care and something as simple as cleansing your face, that it's not about what's broken, but it really is about what's feeding. And that this applies in diet, that this applies in other areas of wellness, that this applies with how you move, how you take care of your body, how you approach going to the gym. Is it from a place of love or hate? When you grow your company, is it from competition? Is it from drive? Is it from crushing someone else? Or is it from really allowing everything to rise up? What I want is to change the language. We're doing it in this very small but incredibly impactful way through the simple act of cleansing. And what if that could be multiplied across the board everywhere? So what I'm looking to do is change a language, which I think that's a mighty goal. But the language starts with yourself.
Yeah. So how are you going to make that happen? Is it
One person at a time? Yeah, it's a one person at a time. I was sharing with you right before we started recording that before I sat down to get on with you, I was writing these notes. And we send these notes with every package that goes out through our website. And they're different every day, but it's just little affirmations. Today it just says breathe deep, because that's what I needed today. And so when you order a skincare product and you're expecting your moisturizer to show up, and you open the package and this is outrageously beautiful experience, and the note inside is not hey, here's a 20% off code so you can fix that problem on your skin. You open it up and it's a handwritten note, and all it says is breathe deep. That's what we need. We need ways to send these love letters into the world. Sometimes the note says you are beautiful. Sometimes it says you are whole. Sometimes it says, and so on and so on. And I get letters every day from our clients who say, when they open this package, expecting what they would expect anytime they order skincare from any other company, and they open it up, and what this is a love letter to them. They write me and say, you didn't know how much I needed that message today. Or, nobody has ever told me I was beautiful. Or, this was the first time that I felt whole. Or, I realized when I read that breathe deep message that I hadn't taken a breath all day. These are the things that are happening through something as simple as shipping skincare products. This is a little massive impact that I can make. And I just want to be a ripple for change, showing people that something as simple as sending a letter out into the world, whether that's through, your tech company or your, shoe company or me with skincare. We have the ability to move through life from a place of love.
So how can people help you share that message and change the language?
I would like, and you can start with you, tonight, before you go to bed, go into your restroom, close the door, turn on the lights. It doesn't matter if you're using product or not using product, but splash your face with warm water. And when your fingers touch your skin, I want you to feel what's happening. I want you to feel the temperature of your skin on your fingertips. I want you to be in that sensation. And if you have 30 seconds, or you have 5 minutes, or you have 2 minutes, or you have an entire hour to sit there and physically give yourself love, only messages of love. And you can say the same thing over and over. And maybe the message today is breathe deep. Maybe it's I am beautiful. Maybe it's I am whole. Do that. And then tell somebody about it.
Thank you, May, for joining the 2050 Life Purpose podcast.
Thank you, Max.